Proverbs 11:7 says, "When a wicked man dieth, his expectation shall perish, and the hope of unjust men perisheth." The expectation of the natural man, in my mind, is a proof of the existence of God. He believes that there is something more, and thus he labors for it. However, the natural man, or we call the lost or the unjust or the wicked man, will find that his selfish desires will never come to fruition. When he reaches one goal, he's got another, and then another, and then another, and never has contentment. We find the rich man Jesus spoke of giving us insight into this very thing. In Luke 12, he speaks a parable unto them in verse 16, saying, "The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits? And he said, This will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall those things be, which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself, and is not rich toward God." You know, we find that death is a great equalizer. And those that have never looked to Jesus Christ in faith of his work of redemption, they have nothing to look forward to after that. All of their wealth, their power, their athleticism, their beauty, it will be gone. You know, we come into this world with nothing, and that's the way we leave. Men name places, events, and even the stars after themselves, but to be remembered only until another man replaces or renames it. This whole world's insane, really. They set goals of high salaries and prestigious positions, for large houses and fancy cars and fine clothes and expensive schools for their children, and other ridiculous ambitions. Some of them say and believe he who dies with the most toys wins. They chase their neighbor's data to make sure they're not left behind in the mad rush to get stuff and experience what they believe is pleasure. Then they lose everything in just a second. The psalmist said, chapter 39, verse 6, "Surely every man walketh in a vain show. Surely they are disquieted in vain. He heapeth up riches, and knoweth not who shall gather them." In Ecclesiastes, Solomon wrote, "I have seen all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit." You know, the Christian has a great hope for the everlasting future. The Proverb 10:28 says, "The hope of the righteous shall be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked shall perish." Again, in chapter 14, verse 32, it says, "The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous hath hope in his death." And so, Christian, be content with whatever God gives you and rejoice in it, realizing that you have an eternal home in heaven and a time with Christ for all eternity. You know, some believe that money is great gain. But God gives us, I think, a wonderful truth in 1 Timothy 6:6. He says, "But godliness with contentment is great gain." Be content with what God has brought, and therein lies the great gain. That is the highest interest on your investment that you can have. May God bless you today.